Hello, and welcome to another episode of Advanced Ears from mksenglish.com. This episode is designed for advanced English learners who want to sharpen their listening skills. I'm your host, Mark, and today we're getting into something a little spooky and also a little scientific. It's our Halloween episode, and the question we're exploring is this: why do people love to be scared? Think about it. Every October, millions of people line up for haunted houses, binge watch horror movies, and tell ghost stories around the fire. But if fear feels bad, why do we seek it out? Let's dive into the psychology of fear and the strange pleasure we get from being frightened. So, what is fear? Well, fear is one of the most basic human emotions. It's hardwired into our brains as a survival mechanism. When you sense danger, a small part of your brain immediately triggers your fight or flight response. Your heart rate increases, your pupils widen, and your body releases adrenaline and cortisol, preparing you to either face the threat or run away. But here's the interesting part. When your brain knows you're not in real danger, like when you're watching a horror movie, the rush of adrenaline can actually feel exciting rather than terrifying. It's similar to riding a roller coaster. You know you're safe, but your body still reacts as if you're falling off a cliff. That's what psychologists call controlled fear, a safe environment that lets us experience danger without the risk of real harm. So, why do we enjoy fear? There are several psychological explanations. First, there's the adrenaline rush, right? A physical high caused by the chemicals released during fear. The mix of fear and excitement can feel almost addictive for some people, similar to the thrill of extreme sports or skydiving. Second, there's catharsis. Catharsis is a Greek word meaning emotional release. When we watch a scary movie or walk through a haunted house, we experience intense emotions in a safe way. After it's over, we feel a sense of relief and satisfaction, as if we just survived something meaningful. The third reason is fear can create a social bond. Think about watching a horror movie with friends. You scream together, laugh together, and feel closer afterwards. That shared experience strengthens connection and trust. And finally, fear reminds us that we're alive. When life feels predictable, a little shock to the system can wake us up, emotionally and physically. Not every culture sees fear the same way. In Japan, for example, ghost stories known as kaidan often teach moral lessons and focus on emotion rather than violence. But as you know, in Western culture, horror movies like Halloween or The Conjuring tend to focus more on shock and suspense. In Latin America, during the Day of the Dead, people celebrate the memory of loved ones who have passed away. It's not scary at all. It's joyful, colorful, and deeply emotional. These differences show how culture shapes the meaning of fear and death, from something to be avoided to something to be understood and even respected. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at some advanced English expressions connected to fear. Try to imagine the emotion behind each one. It sent chills down my spine. In other words, it made me feel deeply afraid or excited. Number 2, I was scared stiff. This is to be so frightened that you can't move. Next, It made my blood run cold. Yikes. Something truly terrifying and shocking. Next is, I jumped out of my skin. I jumped out of my skin means that I was startled suddenly. And last, a pretty cool one, I think. He's fearless to a fault. To be fearless to a fault means to be brave, but maybe too brave for one's own good. You can also use these phrases metaphorically, not just for horror movies. For example, when I heard about the financial crash, it sent chills down my spine. Or, she's fearless to a fault when it comes to public speaking. Now, I know, of course, not all fear is fun. For some people, fear becomes chronic anxiety or a phobia. This is an intense, irrational fear of something specific, like spiders, flying, or heights. I myself have a little bit of arachnophobia, a fear of spiders. Now, the same physical responses that excite us in a haunted house can paralyze us in real life. That's why understanding our fear and learning to manage it is such an important part of emotional intelligence. Psychologists often remind us courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to act in spite of it. So the next time you feel nervous before a presentation or an interview, remember that racing heart is your body preparing you for action, just like a scary movie. So, why do we love to be scared? Because fear connects us to our biology, to each other, and what makes us human. It reminds us that emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, have a purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real reason Halloween continues to fascinate us. It gives us permission to play with fear, to laugh at it, and to understand it. If you enjoyed today's episode, check out more lessons and resources at mksenglish.com, where we can learn advanced vocabulary, improve your pronunciation, and practice speaking confidently about real-world topics just like this one. And if you'd like to train your English ear even more, don't forget to follow this show, Advanced Ears, and of course share it with a friend who loves Halloween. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and don't let the ghosts keep you up at night. I'm Mark Keller, and this was Advanced Ears episode number 13, The Psychology of Fear and Why We Love to Be Scared. Trick or treat!